Yeah, no, it was in a dry sack wrapping.
Oh.
Wasn't perfect. So instead of keeping it out of the water for 3 hours, basically held it within water for 3 hours. So these. Not so bueno.
Oh, this is sad.
Twitch.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, right, 6:30. We actually did on too, so. I went, we're ready. All right, now our calls, we're doing the whole spiel that she normally does. Calls meeting to order, September 10th, 2025. This is the meeting of the Carbondale, Colorado Parks and Rec Commission. We are an advisory commission made up of volunteers to assist and consult with town staff and make recommendations to our elected town officials. My name is Drew Sorensen. I have the privilege of serving as the vice chair and sitting in tonight for our chair, Hollis Sutherland. I'm joined by fellow volunteers, Ashley Hedgemanick, Rachel Bachman-Perkins, Susan Rea, Rose Rosello, with 2 S's, Leslie Curie, Amalia Sparhawk, Nick Nardesha. I'm joined by Carbondale staff, Eric Bredlinger, Robin Jacober, Ali Olivia Wetstein, and Erica Sparhawk is our Board of Trustee liaison. We welcome anyone who may be watching live or via recording. Thank you for participating in your local government. As a commission, we strive to serve the town of Carbondale by setting aside personal biases and looking at what is best for our community. We honor diverse opinions, promote inclusivity, and endeavor to keep our discourse civil and respectful. Perfect. So we'll start with minutes. Did anyone have any changes or updates to minutes? Perfect. If not,
I move that we accept the minutes.
A second.
Awesome. Everyone in favor? Aye. Anyone not in favor? Perfect. Cool. I think first thing up, Mateo, is you and the information that you provided us. Thank you so much. Please come on up and introduce yourself, and we can start with that.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Mateo.
You can also sit if you'd be more comfortable.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sir.
Uh,
You feel comfortable.
this is okay. It's just fine. Thanks.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for providing so much information. We've got it all in the packet. I think you provided that to Eric. I think, Eric, just a quick question. What we're looking for is just kind of approval on starting this process of looking at sites for these osprey nests. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of identifying potentially, one site that's on town land to, kind of figure out the process of that specific site. And so, my recommendation is to really look at the Bob Terrell State Wildlife Area and, at the Gateway Park there. And that is a, multi-jurisdictional, piece of land. And so, but Mateo's already spoken with, Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They are in favor of the project. And so it's really kind of, let's figure out how to do it there first. There's some logistics that would need to be figured out. There's no real code, that I talked to the department heads this morning in our meeting, just asking if there's anything code related that we'd need to worry about, and not that we have in the town muni code right now.
Cool.
And so that doesn't mean that there won't be something later that's kind of slows us down in the process. But a couple other things that I noticed in the recommendations were, out there we'd have a standalone pole. So it wouldn't be, an attachment on top of an electric pole or anything. We could have a standalone, just osprey nesting pole that's specific to that purpose. So I think it's a good starting place for that. And I think it's a good location for that. The river's right there. I mean, that's one of the key factors from reading through this information, that you want to have a riverfront close to that. So that attracts the osprey to that location, so. The questions that kind of came out of the department head meeting this morning was, if we do that, if we put a pole in that location and the osprey come and they actually nest there, is there restrictions on activity in those locations? Because of the nesting timeframe and the pair, is there a time, where I'd like the Migratory Bird Act, where there wouldn't be allowed activity in that location, because that could obviously present a very, large challenge for us, so.
I can share what I know to that. In my time at the Forest Service, in working with the wildlife biologist, the key time to not disturb the ospreys are when they're building their nests and when they've laid their eggs. But the goal back then was to relocate a nest before they had laid their eggs, and that's the only no that I was aware of. And I gladly, if you want, research that, but I've had conversations both with former wildlife biologist Phil Nyland with US Forest Service and also John Groves, CPW.
And would that be a certain distance from the pole that activity couldn't take place? Do you know the details of that?
Not that I'm aware of. It was just more of just like with anything, when your baby's in a crib, don't mess with it kind of thing. But you can walk around the crib all you want.
If they're building their stuff at the stadium, the high school stadium, then they're probably not too afraid of fussing around their nest.
I don't know if you saw in the packet here, there's maybe it's more of a link, but the Shasta County Birding Society worked with their town in a success story. The birds had been nesting at the soccer field stadium lights for 17 years. And every year they'd blow out lights or whatever. And so they got this platform design from the International Osprey Foundation, which I'm not sure if it made it to yours, but there's their website there. And they got the design and they just put it right above the lights, and it's been a win-win since.
Great.
That's what I was wondering, is since it's ospreys that are nesting on the light pole, on the power pole by the substation, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be the best place to put a better nest? I mean, they're already right there. That's where they want to be.
Substation where?
On 133 in Village?
I think that's great. That with the proposal here, they're just different. I appreciate the way Eric put it, as far as start with a pole and a platform and see how the process works. And then so I sort of like that. Yeah, I think osprey are kind of like us. They like the high rises close to the waterfronts. For some reason, they just chose that place.
So exactly where in Gateway do you think a pole would be? I mean,
In talking with Mr. Groves from CPW, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, we had a meeting in person. Actually, Eric, you had just left. You're in there. He recommended further downstream from the put-in, where there's less traffic altogether. Yeah, but still riverfront property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the kind of western end of.
Yeah,
property.
direction-wise, western.
Yeah, that property. And it looks like, from the photos and stuff like they're building nests, right next to highways.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're building, nests on very active, light poles at high school, arenas. And so, I mean, as far as, no activity, we run an RV park out of that location. We run one of the very, very busy, year-round, river put-in there at the Gateway, park. And so I just want to make sure none of those existing activities that happen there would be affected by these actions, right?
Yeah,
So,
good. I totally get it. Yeah.
And so that's, and I don't know if that we maybe need a little bit more, research on that, which we can do definitely. But I would really like to, get with John Groves and identify a spot and figure out a process to try one. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so and I'd like to just see what you guys think about that. And, and we can, as far as, funding and whatnot, that is our land. CPW leases it from us. They have a maintenance responsibility down there up to $6,000 a year. We spend that on trash service and porta potty service and grading of the road and magging the road. So that's already spent. So this would be on us as far as the expenditure. So we understand where that would come from, but.
Eric, is there an existing pole that we'll put it on top of, or is it, we would build a pole and a
Yeah, we'd have to, put a pole in and,
Cool.
and
Whole new
ground it,
poles.
there's some interesting things I saw in there was like, you'd have to ground it too, so it'd be, yeah. And we'd want to put it in cement and, we'd want to do it right, so.
Yeah.
So it would last a long time, so.
And to chime in there, you have a host of volunteers eager to help, whether it's from just the Audubon Society, or there are about 10 to 15 that have signed on. And then there's a whole nother committee within that, another 5, including high school students and retirees that are interested too. So
Yeah.
up to 20 people with their contacts right now that are eager to participate.
So Eric, is it a budget issue that needs to be included for next year?
No,
or
I
what?
just wanted you to know where that money would come from. I mean, we, I could look at the budget. I'm sure, we could probably, have it in this year's budget, with our parks, maintenance and even gateway funding.
Okay, wait, cool.
We still have some gateway funding for sure. So,
Is there a ballpark of what one of these might cost? Like, is it
Yeah.
$1,500? Is it
Well, no, I have
$500?
Sure. I don't know if this made it into your list. I just printed this out. I'd gladly give it to you, but I emailed this the last meeting to Eric, but it's just telephone pricing from $200 to $600 at this website. This is $200 for a southern yellow pine 20-foot pole, $175 for a ponderosa pine. At AG Care Products, it's $4 per foot, so $80 for a 20-foot pole. At Blackwoods Poles, they're free.
Yeah.
You just got to put your town on the list, and they'll drop it off for you.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of ways to get it, and then creative ways of which I would hope just forming a relationship with the power company. They know how to put them in too.
yeah, for us, it would be more of a, getting a contractor, to kind of,
Okay.
to put it in, so it's
Okay.
licensed, insured,
Got it.
do a contract with them, just so all that's taken care of, and there's,
Wow.
so
Okay.
that's all, that insurance piece and liability piece is all taken care of, so.
Yeah. Thanks for looking at the nuts and bolts.
That's the nuts and bolts for sure. But I'd, and we could talk to John Groves too. I mean, maybe they have some funding, that is specific to this need too, so.
True, and maybe if this is successful, and it'd be a dream to allow it for capstones or whatever, grants and whatnot. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm for it. I'd love to just see if the commission, wants to move forward on this, so.
I would say thank you so much for bringing this to my attention.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, such a fun project with such enthusiasm and all the work you did to really present it, and so that we fully understand it and don't have a boatload of questions. I just really appreciate it. And personally, since you've given us this information, I watched the show you suggested, and I've even seen an osprey steal from an eagle, and I was like, I know about this.
Congrats.
So
I just
thank you.
witnessed this a few days ago driving down to Glenwood too.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it seems like it's not necessarily a huge cost as far as the grand scheme of projects that we could be encouraging. And I think, yeah, it's a great concept. It's, and I think it's really fun. It does like help engage people too with, if we were to have one in the, restoration, where the restoration was, Crystal River Restoration, or some of these areas where there's sort of a connection between like the natural environment and human recreation, or I think that's a great thing.
And I support getting these away from the power utility. My husband's somebody who goes around and knocks them off the power pole. So I've heard from his side too, and the danger of having them on the utility themselves and around the utility. So I'd like to, I think our lands are appropriate. I think, at the nature park, we made efforts to leave up snags for nesting birds. And I think I was at the Riverfront Park this weekend, and my daughter scared off the osprey that was in the snag there, but we were trying to be quiet. But I think we do have some properties that are already providing the habitat, and I do like the idea of Gateway and over there. I've been dive bombed driving down the highway numerous times from all the birds along that stretch in particular, so get them a little away from the highway as well would be great.
Yeah. I think that's super positive, and I'll echo those thoughts. I think particularly, Eric, thanks for the thought on starting with that location. I think, and kind of what you've talked about, Mateo, building relationships with each of these organizations as we do it. I think starting with that area, building CPW in, having it being a town project really can show like, if it goes super well, it would be super easy to implement other places. And so, and have like a standing example of like, Audubon brought this to us, town executed it, it's in coordination with CPW. Those are three great organizations that just show that it works. And so I'm full support of it as well. So, yeah.
Need a vote as an
I was
action?
gonna say, do we need anything? Or, I mean, once we get to, budgeting and putting stuff in like that, I'm sure we'll briefly discuss it again, but,
Yeah, just,
yeah.
I mean, just, I think, it'd be nice to have the commission just say, let's move forward with this, and that can be a motion, so.
All right.
I would like, you go.
You want a motion?
You get it.
I move that we approve Mateo's proposal and start the process towards installing Osprey pole at Gateway Park.
I second. Oh, she seconds.
I'll second.
Got the second, all in favor? Aye. Perfect. Sounds good. Well, thanks so much, Mateo. We appreciate the thoroughness, and yeah, we'll get going on it.
Yeah. Next step, we'll just get together and we'll give it John Gross.
Okay, sounds good. And if this makes it onto the sitcom Park and Rec, great. Well, hopefully not.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah.
International Osprey Foundation.
Okay,
Wember.
okay.
Perfect, yeah.
Fantastic, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was fascinating.
All right, next one is Wember. Eric, is that you?
Yeah, so I can let you know, what's taking place in the month that we've last talked to you guys. So lots happened, lot is happening and has happened over there at the site. One of the biggest things, that we took to the trustees last night was our need to push the kind of construction pieces of the project into spring. And so we were getting backed up into colder temps, and there's a lot of information in the packet as to why that happened. Like, and you can read through that, but one of the largest, decision-making factors there was just plastering and the integrity of that plaster. And we were getting pushed into kind of colder temps when that was going to be able to happen with the project this fall. And so the decision was really to, let's plaster in the spring, and let's really look at how to do that in the spring, how that plaster needs to cure. And so you need warm water for that plaster to cure correctly. And so we were getting worried about our tested systems yet, for that plaster to cure into some cold temps here that are potential. So that was one of the things that kind of moved the needle to us still working on the project in the spring. The other things were the XL solar permit and the installation of the solar panels and the connection of those solar panels will happen in the spring also. So that's what the kind of time frame it takes to get that solar permit. So that'll happen in the spring. And then the landscaping. So the landscaping was also going to be affected by the temperatures. And so they probably will plant the trees this fall and then conduct the rest of the landscaping in the spring for survival rates of that material. So Wember is our owner's rep, and Land and Shelter is our architect firm that has a lot of subcontractors underneath them. So those two firms are going to need to increase their fee structure because they were contracted through October really, and so that's going to be a hit on our owner's contingency. So not increasing the cost of the overall project, that's still being able to be absorbed by the owner's contingency. And so you'll see that we had, 300,000 still in there, and that with a couple other change orders that are coming down the pike would be about $100,000 hit to that 300,000 of our owner's contingency. So it's that's what was presented last night to the trustees, and it's not affecting our opening date. It's not affecting our punch list, our warranty, our whole process commissioning to get the facility open in May. So that hasn't changed, and the most of the project's going to be done in late November, December, and we're looking to get a TCO, technical certificate of occupancy, in January. So that means public can't go in the facility, but we could as staff start getting everything buffed out and ready. And then we asked the contractor AD Miller, hey, we need 2 weeks of training time, of commissioning time, of, system operations, figuring it all out before we open to the public. So their target date is 2 weeks ahead of that May 22nd to hand over the facility to us for training purposes. But our CO won't probably happen till we're just about ready to open to the public. So. But with that long TCO from January to May, we should be pretty ready for our CO by that time. So, and that gives us some leeway. The plasterings, needs to have correct temperatures. So they might need to do some winter conditions, and AD Miller would use, if they do, they're going to start that process in April, and they're going to be back on site in March, just to get everything ready. And then they'll start plastering in April, and they'll start with the spa first, because you can tent that easily and keep that warm. Then they'll go to the rec pool, less volume of water there. So that'll be the next thing they'll plaster. The final plaster will be the lap pool, which would be, in late April. So you can get in the pool after you plaster, after it sets for a week, if the temperatures are correct. So, and temperatures are good for its curing process. So we could be training, into that second week of May. So that should give us enough time. We wanted to get all this done, obviously, this fall, but there's some benefits to the push, in the sense that it's just a better product in the end. We won't start our warranties until that time. We would have started our warranties if we plastered in the fall, when that happened, and then they'd sit through a winter.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that's not the best for a new plastered pool, so. And our, contractors that are, the pros at this, Councilman Hunsacker, is our contractor that builds pools. And, they definitely, we want to plaster in the spring. It's just gonna be better for everything. So we, we made the shift, gonna cost us some money, but it's within our contingency. So, so that's what was presented, last night to the trustees, and that's where we're at with that project, so.
Yeah.
Any questions on any of that? That's a lot of information.
So looking at the owner contingency tracking then, the pending remaining balance, we have 304,000 left after this change order?
That's before, so
before, right.
this all happened after that, was, put into the packet, so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that comes down to,
So about 200, yeah, so.
so does that, if we don't spend any more then, that comes off the total project cost?
Yeah, but that's
I know, you
gonna get spent. Yeah, there's still a lot of, things, not big ticket, not huge things. Yeah, our other two, potential change orders that would make up that kind of 100,000. It was actually 65,000 was the additional services of both, land and shelter and Wember. So Wember, land and shelter was about 26,000. Wember's about 39,000, for an additional, 18 weeks of work that was non-contracted. So that's where that sits. That other piece of that, like 100,000 are just PCOs. So, different, things that have happened on the project that changed the original scope. So one was the, very strange height of the ceilings in certain rooms that needed to be, sealed for chemical storage. And so that got missed, that these, so little things like that will, add up and that are still coming down the pike too with the project over there. I don't know if anybody's been by there, but they have started the masonry course. And so there's one course of masonry, with the glass block that's around the building, and they're doing the inside simultaneously. So, it looks really cool. I think it's gonna be super cool, when it gets wrapped around that corner of the building.
And they knocked down the sample.
Yeah,
Oh, my God, I've been wanting to see that damn sample, and I finally got there.
and it was gone. It was gone.
Soon there'll be a whole wall.
I know, they might,
Probably get you chunks of it if you want.
they might need to use those bricks. I don't know why they knocked it down. Yeah, because I was kind of surprised at that too, but they might need to use those bricks. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, any other questions on that kind of project update there? As far as, how it's laid out as far as, the timing of everything.
so
Yeah,
when
so-
will the fencing come down?
So they plan on, finalizing everything except those items I kind of told you about, yeah. So the landscaping, the solar, and the plastering of the pools. They want to plaster the pools when there's not a lot of contractors on site and creating dust and, and dirt and, yeah, and chaos. So I think we'll get a better product out of it. But what you'll see over the course of the winter, it won't be just kind of lying fallow. They'll still be doing some work, a lot of it inside the building, I'm sure.
I asked when the fencing is coming down.
Yeah, and so they plan on taking down the fencing, finishing the flat work, so all the concrete flat work, all the sidewalks, all the decks of the pools, this fall, and putting up the actual fencing for the project and securing the project for the winter with the actual fencing of the final product. So
this fall,
Yeah,
so like November or October?
yeah, probably, yeah, November, December, yeah. There was probably 30 different contractors over there today. They're cranking, but you know, they got a lot going on.
So not, so for sure by the December first Friday, tree lighting.
Yeah,
That's a goal. That would be a goal, I would think.
yeah, I mean, we're kind of away from that, you know, that event's not gonna affect it. The event, I'm more worried about is potato days, you know, so, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, cause they're pulling out, you know, there's a construction trailer on site, they're gonna pull that out next week. So they're gonna put in a small Connex trailer in one of the parking spots on Cypress, on 7th at Cypress Park. Cause that's their only really close spot to be to that facility, so. And that'll probably be there during Potato Day, and that's kind of, so it might take away one kind of vendor load in location there, but the other 2 bridges will be open for that, so I think we'll be okay with it. So, you know, funding and capital campaign kind of recap, so, you know, we do have a grant out to El Pomar right now. We do have a letter of inquiry submitted to the Betcher Foundation. The Betcher Foundation lets us know October 1st if we are accepted as far as receiving an invitation for a full proposal to them. And then you got to turn that pretty quick, and they have notification of funding on November 26th. El Pomar will conduct their review of their grants by the 26th of this month, so we should hear from them the 26th. And then the Capital Campaign Committee did meet last month, and they're meeting next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week. The committee's you know, made up of volunteers. They've all said, hey, we want to try to get this thing over the finish line. So we're committed to and some additional effort for that final push through December 31st of this year. Okay. So that's and we looked at our budgets, looked at our capital campaign budget we have allocated for this year, and we do have some additional money in there, about 8,000 to 10,000 that we're going to use to create that final push marketing campaign. So that's where that sits.
Is that an extension of like people donating to get recognized at the pool and things like that as well? Like all that same stuff that we were using, just pushing with that deadline too?
Yeah,
cool.
So they'll still have the opportunity. That's kind of our deadline for that. Get your name on the wall.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's because then we're going to need to fabricate that and start that fabrication process. So,
yeah.
Yeah, then it'll be done.
Cool.
Yeah. Any questions on pool project? It's we did a tour over there yesterday, and yeah, it's come along. There's so many different contractors working there. It's pretty crazy. But it's getting exciting too. They're doing a water leak test on the lap pool, so as you could see like what that's going to look like with water, and it was pretty neat, pretty exciting.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it doesn't look like any questions, so thanks, Eric.
Okay, you bet.
Fee changes. This is kind of the final version of what Brian presented to us last month. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what part of our budget process is to look at our fees and charges, which is what we call Appendix A in the budget. And so annually we have to look at our fees and charges for everything we do, and so get it approved through our budget process and through the trustees process too. But so it's a great opportunity to kind of bring it to you guys too, and take a look at where we landed with our benchmarking on some of our fee increases. And so I can just kind of walk you guys through that if you'd like. so we're on the Appendix A fee schedule. Gateway RV Park, there's no change in those this year. Mainly because we have to figure out our sewer system out there to say, hey, we have a functional sewer system and you're not gonna be smelling sewer when you stay at our park. So we're not gonna raise the fees until we kind of figure that out. And we do have money allocated in the budget for that next year too.
Great.
And once we close down, this year in October, we'll start that process of fixing the spots that we couldn't fix because there were trailers there, so.
Right. Cool.
Miscellaneous fees, that's our park rental fee, so that's if somebody just wants to rent, for a private function, one of our picnic shade shelters. So those increased just a small amount of inflationary increase. We've seen, a lot of use of our parks in this manner, and what we do is we have a 4-hour window that they can use it, and so we can actually have 2 events a day and even 3 if you wanted to, with our park hours. And so when that happens, if you're renting the park as the second park renter and that first person that rented it didn't do their job of cleaning up after themselves, then you have an unsatisfied customer, right? So we've been utilizing some of our park staff for overtime hours to come in on a weekend, and when we have it stacked up like that, and provide that trash cleanup service for that purpose.
How is that fee changing?
Just like the events with less than 50 people.
Oh, I see.
So it's a track change there, so
Okay.
15 to 20. So you're seeing what the old fees were and then
Oh,
the
I
new
see.
fees.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a track change kind of situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Eric, that honestly, that looks extraordinarily reasonable from someone who books Sopers Park 3 times a year for our school events, like phenomenal, to keep it that low. The one thing, and on that of many people using it, we ran into, we had a little back to school night, and it was like, there was another school having another back to school night, and they were completely unaware that they had to rent a park.
Yeah.
And so we were very amicable, and we shared the whole shelter and stuff. But yeah, I think, with more organizations using the park, I think having that fee and being able to do multiple a day is awesome. And then even just side note, like if there's a way to throw a sign at those locations and just say, hey, like having a party, need a rental, like do it here, and like either QR to the website or just like a phone number for the rec center.
That's awesome.
Good idea.
Because it was great since like we were all there and
Yeah.
I knew all the people from the other school, and it was great, and we had a great time, and they were shared the tables and everything. But they were just completely unaware that there was even a park rental system. And so, a bit of information might have steered them an hour earlier, an hour later. So, yeah.
No, that would help a lot, and I'm surprised we haven't had, more conflicts with that, because there's tons of rogue use, obviously, of those shelters, and so.
Well, I once had a rogue birthday party at a park, Miners Park.
Yeah.
I owe you $15.
Confession hour.
And I didn't even know at the time that you were supposed to reserve, like kind of to
Yeah.
the point of, I think, it's great that we have these public amenities, and people do need to know that you are supposed to reserve it. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a great, just a little tiny something on, especially Sopers Park, because that is such a popular one, especially because it has the shelter, or like Triangle Park. I think that's a really popular birthday party park. Miners, yep. So the ones that do get that type of use, I think it'd be great to have some little something there, or like even social media or in the email when it gets to be spring, like spring, summer, fall. Yeah, exactly. Do you have a birthday party coming up?
Don't want to trash your house, want to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good idea. We're down to downtown pool fees. So these are what they were in existence, and then that's track change to what we are proposing. And these have been kind of vetted, and we added some things to it too. So because we have a new facility, and we have the rec center and the pool, we added the youth and senior and adult double dip pass. So,
Love the naming.
so yeah. So you can, like, let's say it's a hot summer day and your kid wants to go rock climbing inside and cool off in the air conditioned spot, you can pay. But then you're gonna go to the pool or vice versa. You go to the pool and wanna go to the rec for something. Then you can purchase this for that day and it's good for both facilities.
Right.
Yeah, I thought if a senior went with the youth, they got it.
Right, even less expensive.
Could there be a monthly add-on for your rec center membership for that purpose too, of like rec plus pool or
There,
rec center plus?
there's
Is there one in
a
there?
season like add-on
Okay.
for the full pass. Like if you have a full rec pass, you can add on the pool for the season.
Oh,
Or
I
discount.
didn't scroll.
But
down far
not
enough.
for, I don't think we're planning to do monthly for the pool.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a short season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other thing we added, just kind of segue to that, is the season pass early bird rate, and so looking at sold, January of that year until the day before the pool opens. We don't know that exact date, so we can't put that in there. So the day before the season opens, there's a certain rate there. And then there was a season pass sold for the first month open only too. So there's two options there. Your biggest discount, kind of based off of like ski pass pricing, super early discount. Then if you wait too long and then decide, you can still get one, but it's going to be more expensive. And then there's a certain point where it doesn't make sense to buy it.
Can you speak to the resident pricing?
Thought we were.
We
I
don't
thought we were
have a
gonna have an eight,
differentiation
I
between.
thought we were gonna have an 816 zip,
It lists that on the
not the
page
8163.
114.
It's the same pricing. There's not.
Yeah,
I know, but you have
resident
it, the
versus
daily
non. It does
admission,
say daily admission.
you have it as
for
the
resident.
81623, and we were gonna just do the 816 zip code. Anything that started with 816 was gonna be the same price.
Isn't, I think what they're saying is it's the same price for anybody regardless of where you live, right? Yeah.
I know, but the document. here
Yeah, the
says
document has-
81623, so either,
oh, where's that?
under the town pool fees, right, the top line.
I think that was
Oh, that's
just taken out of.
oh, yeah, that's an old thing that's just been carried over. Cause when we first opened up, it was that way, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hasn't been that way for quite a while, so.
And the idea is to add in money we'll add in.
And those numbers for the 20 punch pass, the season
Over there,
pass
it
and the
says
season
youth
pass.
adult. Next line down.
The 20 punch pass, got it, words.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's a heading, but it's in the same font. I see what you were looking
Yeah,
at.
maybe-
Yeah.
Maybe bold it so it looks like a heading, because maybe other blondes or
Things underneath.
might read it.
I was confused too. And I
Yeah, and
scroll
so
down far enough.
those punch passes, work out for youth and seniors to $6 a visit, for 20 visits, and adult ones are $8 a visit. So there is a discount on the regular,
Nice tab would work well there as well.
yeah, on the like third page of that document, you can kind of see the season pass add-on rates. So must have an active recreation center annual membership to purchase. So those would just be for the pool season. If you already have a rec center,
Annual pass.
annual membership.
There is a monthly.
Just for the season.
No, that's a season add-on for the pool. The rec center does have monthly passes. That's not, you can't add on to that with your pool pass.
So you could have a full
You can-
year,
You can.
you could have a
you
full
can
year rec
commit
center.
To a full pass.
So yeah, it's monthly, Rose, but you have to still hold the full year rec center pass, and then you gotta add a single month of pool on at that price.
No.
No?
See the season of the pool for that price.
Yes.
So.
Yeah,
I think a little more.
Yeah.
Language around that can be confusing. And it says monthly right on there.
Yeah.
Monthly for this price.
So does it mean monthly, like it's added?
That's not-
For the year to the month?
Where does it say monthly? For the pool?
On.
Or for the?
just above town field tennis court,
We're on
pickleball
page
court.
3 of 14.
Yeah, I think that's the rec center.
This pass add-on rate must have, it's just what you just read. And then it talks about the, the seasonal add-on, and it says you.
I think those are
Adult.
for the rec center is the monthly prices.
Okay,
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah.
moving that out of that
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. You'll notice that those are duplicated in the rec center and yeah, we are not gonna offer that. So sorry, we need to cross those off there. So
Okay,
that's why we're looking at this
cool.
before it goes in.
So the add-on for the pool is only full summer. There's no breakdowns in that. Cool, perfect,
And only if you have an annual pass.
perfect.
We'll just remove that whole monthly section.
Yeah,
And we'll put a little bit more around what double dip means.
yeah.
Always in for a hip term. Also need direction on what means.
Next.
At the pool, there will be a daily price and a season pass
And a punch pass.
and a punch pass.
Correct.
Okay.
And a
And a double
dip.
dip.
And a double dip, yeah.
Yeah, so just looking at, what we try to do is we try to mesh these prices, with the rec center. So with the benchmarking that was done with the pool, we also looked at the rec center and community center fees and mesh them up. So that's why there's some changes in that page 3 of 14.
Can you rent the pool for a party? Is there a party package for the pool? I see a rec center one.
Yeah, thank you. See, that's why we're doing this, because
I-
this is.
You wanna throw
this is
it-
what
wow.
our whole-
We hadn't landed on that.
In the wrong
I've
season.
got, yeah, I was gonna say, I've got a date in mind.
I didn't realize it.
March and
Say, but-
October.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. This is good exercise.
We can double up.
Along that same line.
Is there a birthday room? Is there a birthday add-on? Like, a lot of these pools and rec centers have some sort of space or add-on for birthday events.
Yeah, it'd be underneath our, trellis there in that portion
Mhm.
of the property. So, yeah, we've thought about that.
Packages.
Yeah. And so we gotta get it in appendix A though, so Brian did look at those and, so we'll just get it in appendix A. I did notice also, just before anybody else catches it, on page 4 of 14, there, the appendix A, the, youth, and senior monthly and 3-month got flipped somehow, the pricing,
Mm.
so, and also the adult monthly and 3-month got flipped, so those two just need to.
Nick was about to say something. I saw his hand go.
It's like, what?
Good catch, though. That's that stuff that just sneaks by and then gets into print and
Right. and-
haunts you for an entire year.
So at the bottom of that page, the party package rental fees for the rec center, they're all crossed out. There should be numbers added in there. The only one left is the party rental for 2.5 hours.
Isn't that included up in
Yep,
the third one?
that's the way we're doing it now, is just, is that it includes all that, so,
The party rental.
yep,
Oh, just make it easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
includes all that if you want it, so.
Including a bounce house? Do we have a bounce house?
Yep.
Do.
And so that could be included within that fee.
Yep, yep.
Cool.
It's a big hit.
It's
You can try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a great one.
To be clear, we own one. Yeah.
But so there's no smaller rentals that people can do.
Yeah, they're coming up, there's.
Yeah, if you look at the next page, then it gets into gymnasium and
Yeah. then you got, yeah, climbing.
climbing wall,
Oh,
et cetera.
okay, sorry.
Fees, facility room rental fees. And then it goes to the, kind of Carbondale recreational amenity rental fees, like for a rental. So we changed that, so that one whole page is just wiped out and we're adding a second page on the, behind that is our new room costs and everything, so. And those didn't change. I don't
If
No,
we're
we
nit-
didn't change
Yeah,
that.
those didn't change, but we just changed the format of how they're presented, so.
If we're nitpicking for fun here, facility room rental fees, for youth versus general, it goes up $1 for the kitchen, but then $9 for the multi-purpose room and $2 for the lobby patio. Did you want to kind of make that more uniform, or how do you feel about that? The facility room rental rates, I mean, I would probably just do whatever, a standard $5 discount for youth, senior through the whole thing versus
Oh, yeah, that.
kind of random numbers.
It was kind of percentage formulaic numbers, so that's why they're kind of weird, but. Yeah, those aren't changing, so that was a while ago. I can't remember.
This is up to 40 from 37, right? For
Yeah, we didn't mess around except for that 40, so.
I would like to see it more uniform. That would be my, that's my.
That's a good
ed-
question and
ed-
more of a suggestion.
Okay. Yeah, so we're on to Gus Darian riding arena rental fee schedule. So this is one that we haven't spent the time really to look at that. We don't really rent that out too many times over the course of a year. So we haven't really benchmarked that in quite a while. These are, have been this way for quite a while. We also don't have time to benchmark that right now when you look at how many uses we have of it, so we'll look at that maybe next year. So some of these things we've got to kind of push out a little bit.
I was gonna say, is that one including like both summertime rental for like riding practice or something like that, and winter use of like hockey?
No, we have a whole.
Is there another one there? Did I
Yeah,
miss
different
that?
one for the hockey
Okay,
rental, yeah.
I thought I had seen it somewhere.
Do you,
Again, on the rental fee category for the riding arena, did you mean to have the 8163 zip code in there?
No, that should be just
Resident.
nonprofit,
No.
nonprofit and resident is how we say that now.
do you do any overnight boarding?
We have, but super rare. Yeah.
Cause they were there this weekend with,
This weekend was.
this past
Yeah,
weekend.
This last weekend was the one of our few rentals, the ranch roping, it's called. So it's been going on for 10 years. So, but the fire restrictions just changed.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah, they came backwards. So,
Great. That's great news.
but that was legal.
Great.
Few of those rentals are on page 3 of 14. If you're looking for the rank rental.
Oh, that was the top. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think that's all. I think that we got through it, right? So. Yeah, so those were the changes. Is everybody okay with those? And then,
Have anything about the ice arena?
No, it is. It's up on page 314
yeah.
on that, and it doesn't look like any of the fees are changing on that one,
No.
so.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
it's
Stayed the same.
How many tractor
Um,
rentals do you get in a year?
Yeah. We kind of put that in there, because there are some events that have, people that are trained on the tractor. We just wanted to make sure it's somewhere in there somewhere.
Is
Like
park,
when-
park and street, what does that mean? For a special event? Park and
Yes.
street rental agreement, what does that mean as far as like what part of the street?
So, yeah, you would, like, if you're doing a street closure.
Okay.
So all that it's a 20-page packet that
Okay.
you fill out for a park and rental agreement, so that has all those details in it, what's your trash service, what's your,
Okay.
what kind of event is it? Does it have liquor? Does it have, all those things with porta potty needs and security needs, all that stuff's in the rental agreement details, so. Yeah, so anybody who does a special event in our parks and needs, or even our streets, we have just rented a street too before, so.
So yeah, nobody has any questions, Eric, it looks like this one you do have down for kind of approval, and so we'd entertain a motion on this fee schedule.
Do we have to mention all of those changes that we've mentioned?
No, just as.
No.
Oh,
Allie's getting to make.
that does include my more uniform comment, but, yeah, I make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the reviewed changes on the pay schedule,
Appendix A.
Appendix A, with the mentioned, I'm not doing well on this. Anybody else want to try?
Edits,
Edits,
suggested edits, yeah.
with the suggested edits.
I second.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Okay.
Everyone.
Thanks for the assist.
Awesome. Thanks for working on that, Eric, and I know that all of you at staff are working on that, and so thanks for doing that. And then fee waiver request for upcoming event here.
So we have, asked anybody who comes to us as a nonprofit that, is, gonna be performing something that has a fee associated to it, a rental of a park or rental of our stage, and that they have to, if they are interested in a fee waiver, they come through the Parks and Rec Commission. If, and then not necessarily need to go to the trustees if the commission, kind of says all unanimously, like let's say it was a split vote or something, then we'd probably take it up to the trustees, but it can be decided at this level on, these types of recurring events, but we do like them, I don't want to make that decision, solely to give somebody a waiver of a fee, right? So I want that to be a public process, so. So that's what we're looking at, this for mobile stage use agreement for Dia de los Muertos. And so there are, just so everybody understands how that works, there's a $250, nonprofit fee for the use of the stage, but then there is the setup and takedown fee, and so that and the damage deposit, which we still require. So those two are two things that we can't waive, that we don't want to waive, and because we need staff to set up and take that down, and only staff are trained to set up and take that down, that fee is non-waivable, what we've said to the nonprofit. So you're just really waiving the stage rental fee, so.
Okay. Any questions on that? It does seem pretty straightforward. Covers your guys' cost, is a deposit, and so nothing happens, they get that back, and so yeah, waiving that small fee. No one has any questions on that? It does seem pretty straightforward. Susan?
I do. We've given them a waiver before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else do we give waivers to?
Like somebody was gonna be on the agenda tonight that was gonna do a pickleball tournament as a fundraiser. It was the Rotary Club is gonna come and actually do a pickleball tournament and raising funds. I'm trying to remember what they were raising funds for. It was like polio vaccines or something, one of their Rotary initiatives, and so that could happen too, waive the fee of rental of that public amenity for a private event.
I just feel like this is the only one that comes to ask us
Yeah.
for a waiver.
It's
true.
Yeah, we
So
have
so every other time I see the thing put out there, somebody's paid the fee for it.
Well, mostly it's us
Town.
putting it up as support for First Friday or as support for
But
and-
that is now run by Carbondale Arts,
Yeah.
right? But we do that without a fee waiver request.
Yep.
They just pay the fees, the extra fees for staff and.
Yep.
all
This
that.
one's different because it's in the middle of the street. And so we have to spend the weekend time to take it down. So when we put it up in Chacos Park, we can wait until regular, work hours and
Okay,
get it
okay,
down. So
alright.
that's the difference from a regular First Friday event and this event. So, yeah, it's just a little bit more onerous on our staff and time. So that's why we you know, requested them to do this. So.
I make a motion to approve the fee waiver.
Second.
All those in favor?
What if there's one more discussion topic? Is that right after the vote?
Before we vote.
Yeah. So,
We
okay,
haven't voted yet.
we'll hold our vote for a second. What's your comment, Rosa?
Scratching
Yeah.
me.
Just
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
question for clarification. We just went through all the pricing, so excuse me on that. But, okay, so how much is how much is the fee?
So for a nonprofit, it's $250.
Okay, and how many employees does it take to take it down in the middle of the day?
And that's just for the rental fee rate of the actual stage. So
Right,
the setup takedown fee is $420.
and they want to waive both of it, so it's
No.
like a $600.
They
Yeah.
still pay that.
Yeah, we don't waive our staff time.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're just waiving we're
Just the fee.
just waiving the fee for the rental.
The 250,
The
okay.
420.
the 420.
No.
No.
Waive the 250, 420 covers the cost for staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready.
Perfect. Motion's on the table. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye, there we go. Awesome.
I just didn't want us to be paying for them to have
No.
an event if we're not, if we weren't paying for this, if they weren't paying for the staff. I just want to make sure that they were paying something.
That's how it's laid out.
Perfect. All right, into information stuff. Still with you guys over there, Eric.
Just a couple, quick updates on, budget, right? So we kind of ran out of time in our last meeting to, look at our capital improvement, project plans. What's kind of gonna be, asked for 2026 budget. So I can just share a couple of those asks right now that are going into the budget. So for the rec center, some upgrades and maintenance needs of that almost 19-year-old building now are coming to a head, and one of those is our HVAC system. So we have actually a quote for $90,000 to do a lot of work on that system. Needed work, and so that's in the budget. The other things that we're asking for, and these are kind of those capital improvement items or repair items that are above, 20,000. It's kind of how they make the differentiation there of that ask. So bike park improvements and maintenance, we've been spending about 20,000 a year just on upkeep and maintenance of the facility. CIRSA came in and kind of dinged us on some of the work that was being done there, and so we need to kind of put some improvements and some money towards that. So we have a $40,000 budget for next year to kind of tick off what CIRSA was asking for improvements, but at the same time then, not only maintain it but improve it at the same time. So there's a $20,000 add to that normal maintenance ask there.
Perfect.
We finally found a skate park concrete guru. We've been looking for one for a while. Our skate park has been being dinged by CIRSA, our insurance rep, due to some dilapidation of the coping and some concrete dilapidation. So we spent our $7,000 with this guy this year, and he showed us what he could do out there. And so we are going to, like the bike park, need to just start putting in some annual maintenance money for ongoing repairs of that aging concrete out there. So and we found the guy, so we're pretty psyched about it. And so there's a $25,000 increase, not increase, but a budget for skate park maintenance for next year. And we'll see how far he gets with that. he's done all the coping repair and he's done all the kind of small, dilapidated concrete chip repair. And now he needs to start looking at, actual pad repair, which means he gets in and chunks out because there's too many, it's compromised so much that he can't just use his, kind of surface repair techniques. So we'll be looking at just, having that be a budget hit for quite a while, just to start repairing pieces and replacing pieces of that concrete with new concrete. The other ask is to improve minors volleyball courts, and that's a replacement of that sand there. That's a sand that's, kind of gravel pit engineered and not conducive for the programs that we ran there and that we want to run in the future there. We want to get a true volleyball treated and washed sand there. So and so that's going to be about $30,000 hit there. And we'll use that sand in the park for other uses. So when we do that sand switch out, we won't lose that sand that's already in there. We use it for other park needs and purposes. So
That's great.
And that's going to help us really establish. They had a program there this summer. I think that's going to grow. I think it was very successful. They had a youth tournament there this summer that was very successful. That's going to grow. I think we're going to be able to see some additional use of that and just through word of mouth when we get the right sand in there. We've been putting improvements there. We are going to put in the net improvements where you can change the height of the net, under tension. That's all purchased out of this year's budget. So yeah, we're just making that a nice, perfect spot to go play volleyball, have tournaments, have some programming. So
That's awesome.
Chacos Park, we are this year, we have enough money in the budget and a contract with RE Land to take that to design documents. And so we still got a lot of work to do there to get it, at that design document level. Construction document level. We want to get through design document into construction document level off of our conceptual plan. So that's in this year's budget. Next year's budget, we put in $1 million to try to implement, and it's going to be a phased project. And so we have kind of that money over a couple of years to probably get that project to come to fruition. So and so that's moving forward. We're going to look for some grant funding for that project too. I think it aligns pretty well when we do have a shovel-ready project for some granting sources for that type of project, downtown park with many different uses and amenities. And then there's a request from the Roaring Fork Pickleball Association for some bleachers and shade structures out at North Face Park and they would cost share that with us. So that's gonna be put in the budget too, to look at those needs out there. And if you've ever been out there on a hot day, the need is there for that with the number of people that are using that facility. So that needs there. We're also in the budget just have as far as maintenance pieces, we have money to enhance those frost-free drinking fountains out there at that park too. So we have for Colorado Meadows and for North Face Park. We purchased the frost-free drinking fountains. Now we're putting money in the budget to actually install and have a concrete pad, ADA access.
Yep.
To
That
those
mean
frost-free
year-round?
drinking fountains. So that's also part of the capital improvement budget.
Eric, is that year round?
Yeah,
Water
so the
fountain?
frost-free drinking fountains, we put one in Miners Park. It operated for 11 out of the 12 months last year. And it did freeze up when we had that really cold snap, and so, but it was
Was there
operating.
like additional repairs that needed to be done because of the freeze, or just?
No, it just wasn't non-functional. Yeah, just yeah. But it yeah, and so it wasn't, it just got cold enough to where it didn't drain fast enough to not freeze up, so. Yeah, so, so I just want to share that where we are with some of the budget stuff, so I think that's everything I have on the budget side.
So when will we see a budget document? Next month?
Good question. We have new software and like, yeah, we're dealing with software issues that are not allowing me, I should say, to finish my budget, so. Yeah, so,
Bought new software, right?
Yeah, there's new software that was purchased and started to get implemented with an old finance director, and now there's a brand new finance director and a new town manager, so I do not envy the staff and all the work they're trying to do. Catch up.
yeah, and I'm just getting locked up in the software, and so non-functional, but then gotta talk to support, and then, yeah, you know how long that takes, so.
Gotcha. Best of luck.
I know for new processes and trying to get it out there, there's a software on the online, it's called Scribe How. And it'll just help you like copy paste how to do any process that you're trying to show anybody else how to do. So if you're answering the same questions
I've seen.
over and over again, I have done it so many times through all the different changes I've made, and it's
On this, do that, yeah.
super cheap and it's very customizable and easy. And then you just start using the language. Did you look at the scribe? How do I change my username? Did you look at the scribe? How do I change my last name? Did you look at the scribe?
Yeah, so we're working through that new software. I think, well, you know, next year will be great, once everything's functional, so. But, cause the software is pretty slick and it's all real-time data, so it's actually really good, valuable data to have real-time in front of you when you're putting your budgets together, so. Versus hunting, pecking for it, so. But we just need it, I need to get used to it and trained. So it'll take a while. So I'm not sure when that will come back in front of you as far as a finalized kind of product, but I'll let you know. The only thing I had, Potato Day, so
Oh, yeah.
coming fast and furious at us. You know, we have a new kind of, you know, community impact model with Potato Day, so, Kate Giannetti brought this idea to the Potato Day committee of seeing if he could go out and get an investment, you know, from community members on a 3 to 5 year plan to cover the costs of production of Potato Day. And then have that community impact piece of it be the fees and charges and the proceeds of the event. If all those costs were covered, the proceeds of the event could then go to a selected nonprofit that has a, you know, a agricultural heritage tie-in to the Potato Day, you know, theme. And so, so that's what's happening internally with the committee. You're not going to see much different on the outside of what Potato Day looks like, really. You know, there's still, you know, all the activities that are historically happened there. We are trying a few different things. We're gonna try the contra dance piece. You know, we had that last year. We've done that for a couple of years, and that was Ernie Giannetti, you know, kind of, hey, where's the community dance part of Potato Day like we used to have it? That was one of his suggestions. So we did incorporate that back into the Potato Day offerings and had offered a contra dance last 2 years at the rec center. Before that, it happened at the 3rd Street Center. We're trying that in the park this year, so it's going to be weather dependent, but we're getting a band and a caller on the stage to extend that 3:30 to 5 time zone of the day. We usually were ending at 3 on that day, and so we're gonna see if we can extend it to 5 and have that contra dance finish up.
Sorry, Eric, to
kind of
interrupt.
Potato
Is that
Day.
on Saturday?
It's all Saturday, yep.
Did we do the contra dance on a Friday night before? And so we're bumping it all back to
Yeah.
potato
Same.
day singular?
Yeah,
Okay,
but we're still having, like, the Gym Con is still gonna be on Sunday,
okay,
so that'll still be a part of Potato Day.
cool.
And then Friday is always that first Friday.
Right.
Yeah, so there's events, Carbondale Historical Society is doing a membership drive event at True Nature. There's gonna be First Friday activities downtown, short closure and all that stuff that night, Friday, and then Potato Day is Saturday, so. Yeah, so it's kind of a new model, you know, they have, hired a kind of a community organizer to organize the event too, which I voted for heavily, just because that had been kind of falling on us as the fiscal agent, and all that paperwork coming through our desk. So they've kind of split up those duties a little bit, which has been beneficial for our time too. We're still heavily involved, obviously, as a committee member and as a as the park itself. So yeah, so that's what's kind of going on Potato Day. We do need volunteers. So Potato Day volunteers, we need servers and in the line. We need park, park people that day, to help us pull off the event. A lot of day of volunteer needs. We need volunteers to wrap corn and clean potatoes and wrap potatoes the week before. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in Potato Day as a Parks and Rec Commission member, just let us know and we can plug in to all of our needs. So, and it's one of those fun events, and I think it's one of our coolest events that we actually do here in this town. It's 116 years old, so yeah. So it's and Ernie Gianetti, who just passed away, been to about 92 of these. So yeah, so we're trying to keep the tradition alive and have it actually be a fundraising model. And Seed Piece is going to be the beneficiary of this year's funding, and which is the timing's great, because Casey started that with a great vision, and they got to keep it going for him. So
Eric, so if Potato Day volunteers for the day of should contact you, but for the days before who's Sue Gray or somebody else?
you can still contact us and we'll kind of plug you in.
Put them in, okay.
yeah.
And so do you know when, I'm putting together a newsletter. Do you want, like by Wednesday or when will people be needed to work?
Yeah, so we're gonna, I don't have that.
I'll get in touch with you.
Our next
I'll
meeting
call you.
tomorrow.
Yeah, because we have a meeting tomorrow where we're probably gonna figure it out. I just was working on that though. But we have that, there's a whole weekly schedule before Potato Day that has volunteer opportunities. And some of those being really fun activities, like the cleaning and wrapping of the potatoes at the Thompson House is like one of the, because it's been happening there for 116 years. So it's a really neat kind of historical event. And that happens on Thursday, I think. Yeah, I don't have that in my head right now, but yeah, so it's, some opportunities like that. I can get those to you, Susan, because yeah, I just worked on that.
Okay, thanks.
That should be it. Oh, nope, not yet. So just last Friday, these guys contacted me and said, hey, we want to do come meet the goats, talk to a grazing expert, and meet the herding dogs. All right, so the meet and bleat. Not a meet and greet, it's a meet and bleat, and meet is spelled M-E-E-T, not M-E-A-T. Listen.
Rest in charge of explaining that.
So we kind of pulled this off pretty quickly for these guys because they just came to me last Friday. So this is actually tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so, but I've been talking to these guys. I just wanted to share it with you guys about utilizing their services for our integrated weed management plan and what facilities and town land that this would be appropriate on. So so hopefully he's gonna give us a little demo on the outfield of the Bill Hanks baseball diamond. That's where we really need it. And so he can fence that off pretty easily, and give us kind of a demo of what they can do there. And then, if someone, it's gonna be an experiment to see how that goes, but they have contracted with RAFTA, so they're gonna be coming back, I think, for a couple of years. And so I think we'll be able to, piggyback on them for some of our needs and get goats in our bag of tricks for our integrated weed management plan. So I'm pretty excited about it. So.
We've tried that before, but it was too expensive.
Yeah, and so that's because there was like a monopoly, I think, and and so I think, I don't know his rates yet, but I mean, RAFTA is using him, I think, for the purpose of, at least in my mind, that less expensive than the other operator. So. Yeah, so meet and bleed.
Goat operating. That was a thing. Cool, thanks. Ed.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Awesome, Robin.
So we are wrapping up summer things. We had our last softball championship wrapped up this week. And softball was so popular, we're actually gonna do a fall league this year. So.
My husband is very excited
Oh,
about fall.
glad to hear it. Yay. And then we've got climbing wall classes have started for little guys, and basketball's coming up. So those are kind of the big things.
Basketball date, I've been charged for finding this out one. When are we dropping the opening for basketball?
I'm sure it's on the website. I don't
Is
know.
it? Okay, I didn't know if you knew.
We can look
Like
it up.
such a
now.
big conversation with all the mamas.
For the girls or boys?
I think
I
probably.
think girls is posted, but boys is later. Like November, December, later.
The word is that it's October that we have to sign up. And I was like, I'll find out.
The opening date, well, the girls' opening was highly anticipated as well. So we had moms calling. So
It's a big deal. People say it's spelled out as fast as ski school, so.
it's a big deal.
Is it the
That's
person rec?
from what I've learned. And the boys isn't posted yet. I know, sure. I don't know. It's later. It's after the girls.
Won't tell us when. Just gotta keep checking.
So we've put a deposit down for the painting. And I thought I would come back to you. I am planning to just go with the color that it is now and not changing the color. So I think what will be the result of that, however, is that we'll have to do it more frequently to make sure that it looks good. So that's where we are with that. If hopefully everybody's good with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to have a vote, but anyway,
I think fewer changes is good right now.
yeah. After that meeting, I felt like, we don't need to do that. Go through that. Read the room. That's it. That's
Cool.
it for the rec, unless anybody has questions.
I have a comment too.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I'm on the wayfinding committee, and we last month had a really good meeting and kind of just picked out the 3 entry points to town to start with for putting new wayfinding signs in. And then we have kind of a sub-circles that kind of come together with more detailed wayfinding as you get into town. Tomorrow's meeting, we're getting the representative from RAFTA that we need to work with to get better signs, replacement signs all along the Rio Grande Trail out there. So we're going to be putting together a budget that's going to go through Bike Peds and Trails Commission.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Thanks, Susan. Before Erica, any other commissioner updates? Perfect. Erica?
The major thing that we'll be doing for the rest of the fall is working on the town budget. As you know, we have a new town manager who started at the beginning of August, and then he promptly proceeded to work through hiring a new finance director so that we could go through the budget process. We were operating, Renee, who had retired, came out of retirement and has helped us in this, in the summer months, particularly getting us through the audit, which was just presented to us last night. Everything's looking really good, in all of our financial systems and stuff like that. So, we're gonna start next week with a work session where we'll be going over, kind of our priorities and talking through, we had done as trustees, we had done a strategic planning session a year ago and saw it as kind of a 2 to 3 year plan. Not really a plan, but just kind of our bulleted list of items that we want to make sure don't fall off anybody's plate. So staff is working on updating that list. We'll be going over that and just talking about priorities for the coming year. And then through that, and that's, I think, where like we may actually end up seeing your budget before your next meeting. Because we've already had a few presentations. And then we have to be presented with a budget before October 15th. That's the state rules. So that's just, for timing wise, it may end up happening, possibly at our last meeting in September, or I can't remember what date our October meetings fall on. So just to give you a kind of big picture of how that would be looking, for us. But it doesn't mean we can't make changes from that. It's just, we have to view a draft budget. So some numbers have to be in a spreadsheet somewhere for us to look at. The other really big thing, which I had mentioned before, but we have contributed $1.1 million to help the owners of the Mountain Valley Mobile Home Park. Actually, it's them, we're helping both parks. It's a joint project. It's the Aspen Basalt Mobile Home Park as well. And it's 74 units, just as a reminder, and I'm gonna ask our town manager to maybe publicize a little bit more, just a reminder of like, it kind of feels like 1.1 million spent really well if we're keeping 74 units. They're right outside of our town limits, but they're, a really important part of our community. So that agreement was finalized last night and the check was sent, I think, today. So we've been calling Laird, trustee Laird. He's been a major advocate and been at all the meetings and really helping all the other communities kind of see the importance as well of why we need to do this. So super proud that we have been able to put that much in and feel like the community should know. And then also I'm just super stoked that last time I think I was like, heads up, Highway 133 is gonna be closed. We're doing this pedestrian crossing. And it was closed for 8 days.
I was gonna say,
Or
it's way
something.
shorter than expected.
I know. And
Up on Facebook.
Yeah.
exactly. And so we all learned that detouring around City Market is not super fun, but I timed it. It only took 5 minutes. And that was with cars stacked up from the highway all the way through my neighborhood. So it's only 5 minutes, you guys. Drive in a big city and see what 5 minutes feels like. But it's gonna be really nice. It still has to get finished. I think that's where their month timeline was. But kudos to staff for making that happen and jumping on the opportunity to work with that contractor and get it done this fall. So that's really it. But if you have any questions or want to know more about our budget priorities, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to anybody about it. That's all I have.
If there's no final comments or questions, we could do a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?